Hello, my name is Leona Judson, and this is Gail Peterson. And we're going to talk to you today about Proposition 26. You'll see on your ballot, it says allows in-person roulette, dice games, sports wagering on tribal lands. It is an initiative constitutional amendment and statute. So Gail, what is the question behind Proposition 26?
The question is, should the state of California amend the state constitution and state law to allow sports wagering at American Indian casinos and licensed racetracks, and legalize roulette and dice games at casinos?
Can you tell us some of the background on Proposition 26?
The California Constitution and state law limits the types of gambling within the state to the state lottery, card rooms, betting on horse racing, and gambling at tribal casinos. There are 4 racetracks, 79 compacted tribes, and 66 casinos in the state. Currently, sports wagering, roulette, and games with dice are not allowed. The Supreme Court eliminated the federal ban on sports wagering in 2018.
How does gambling at American Indian casinos work?
When a tribe wants to offer gambling on its lands, federal law requires that the state negotiate a compact with the tribe with oversight from the California Department of Justice, county district attorneys, and city attorneys.
What do tribal casinos pay now?
Currently, tribes pay $65 million to support state regulation and gambling addiction programs. They pay tens of millions of dollars to local governments each year, and larger casinos pay nearly $150 million each year to tribes that either do not operate casinos or have less than 350 slot machines.
So what does Proposition 26 propose?
Prop 26 would allow tribal casinos and 4 licensed racetracks to offer on-site betting on sports events like football, and would expand the types of games offered at tribal casinos to include roulette and dice games.
Does that include school sports?
No wagering would be allowed on high school sports or California college sports, and it would be limited to those 21 and older.
How will racetracks be affected?
Well, racetracks would have a net 10% tax on sports betting, with revenues going into a new California Sports Wagering Fund. The new fund's monies would first be used to help meet the required spending level on education. After that, the fund would be divided among the general fund, 70%, gambling law enforcement, 15%, gambling addiction and mental health programs, 15%.
And how will Proposition 26 affect tribal casinos?
Well, tribal casinos that choose to offer sports betting on tribal lands would be able to do so only after adjusting their compacts with the state to allow it. Each tribe's state and local compact would be amended to determine the amount of the fees to be paid, and the new compact would determine how funds would be distributed.
And how will violations be handled?
Well, any violations of gaming law would be brought to the district attorney, the attorney general, or to the courts. Civil lawsuits can be brought by citizens. Penalties assessed would go to the new California Sports Wagering Fund.
And what will be the fiscal effect of Proposition 26?
Well, impact on state and local revenues are hard to determine because much depends on the terms of the compacts between the state and the casinos, and on how much people who play the games or bet on sports will spend. Potentially, racetracks tax payments and civil penalties for violations of the law would increase state revenues by tens of millions of dollars. Increased costs to enforce and regulate the new wagering could potentially reach the low tens of millions of dollars each year. This could be offset by increased revenue.
So what are supporters saying?
Well, supporters say Prop 26 would guarantee that children don't have access to sports wagering by limiting it to casinos and racetracks. And supporters also say Prop 26 would limit sports wagering to highly regulated and safe facilities that are experienced in gambling operations and with resources to safely operate the activity.
And what do opponents say?
Well, opponents say Prop 26 would massively expand gambling in California for the benefit of large tribal casinos. Opponents also say Prop 26 is sponsored by powerful interests that will use the new enforcement rules to bury card rooms in frivolous lawsuits.
What about campaign financing? What does that look like?
Well, $73 million has been donated in support by the Yes on 26, No on 27 Coalition for Safe, Responsible Gaming PAC. The top donors to the PAC are on your screen. And in opposition, $41 million has been donated by the No on 26 Taxpayers Against Special Interest Monopolies PAC. And $1 million has also been donated by the No on the Gambling Power Grab PAC. Again, the top donors are on your screen.
So in conclusion, what does a yes vote mean?
The California state constitution will be amended to allow sports wagering in American Indian casinos and at licensed racetracks. It will tax profits from sports wagering at racetracks at 10% and legalize roulette and dice games at casinos.
And what does a no vote mean?
A no vote opposes this initiative, thus continuing to prohibit sports betting in California and roulette and dice games at tribal casinos.
Well, thank you, Gail, for walking us through this very complicated proposition.
You're welcome, Leona.